Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Raymore City Council work session for Monday, August the 4th, 2025. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I guess it's not really a meeting to order, it's our work session itself. But we have one item that's actually on the agenda. I think we have a couple under other, but tonight we want to talk about the restricted fund balance. And Mr. Fearborn has some ideas that he'd like to share with the council.
Good evening. As the council is aware, each year we have to take by council vote, because it was voted on in resolution. It's been in place since 2016. We vote a restricted fund balance of 20% now in each of the 4 operating funds, because we've added an operating fund. The GFOA recommends that restricted amount be depending on the financial condition of the city and the creditworthiness of the city. They recommend between 5 and 15%. There are a couple of other locations where you'll see up to 2 months and that's against your operating expenses only, not transfers out, not one-times. It's recurring operating expenses. Every single year since 2016, we've withheld that 20%. For the last several years, as things have been going well, and some of the council will remember my horror stories from when I was with the school district. There were occasions when the total fund balance was about 1%. And that's a very scary environment to come out of, which is why I was always ultra conservative in recommending to you all the 20%. I think I am comfortable recommending to you all, let's put it that way, that we reduce that 20% to 17.5%. And here's my reasoning. It's all about the money. The official term for that 20% setting there every single year, year after year, is those funds are languishing. The only thing that they are there for is against an emergency to cover us for 2 months. And that would be approximately 16% if you were looking at the 2 months. Still recommending 1.5%, 2.5% above the 15 from GFOA, still recommending above the 2 months restricted reserve. But the example would be, and these are preliminary numbers just for this year coming up, in the general fund, we would be looking at an available fund balance, because what's not restricted then goes into available. And for one-time uses, we would be looking at the difference between $2,895,000 and $2,533,000, $361,911 that we, in the general fund alone, that we could put to projects. And as you know, the council has kind of wisely moved to this, let's take a lot of that available fund balance and contribute it to roads. That would be an additional $361,000 that we could spend on roads, as opposed to just sitting there languishing, and we would still maintain a very, very healthy restricted revenue balance, if you will, of 17.5%. In the park fund, it would mean $52,480. Again, preliminary numbers. And the reason I'm bringing it, and of course there'd be 2 other funds impacted, the enterprise fund and now the public safety sales tax fund would both be impacted by being able to do good things. Council has always been really smart about spending that available fund balance, being able to do good things and still maintain a conservative fund balance. Reason I'm bringing it to you all tonight is because it is voted in by resolution, that percentage amount. And so next week, if you all give me the thumbs up, I'd like to bring a new resolution to you all, canceling out the first resolution and establishing 17.5% in the operating funds. Just kind of looking for some feedback.
Yes, Sonia?
Just a question. I'm just wondering, are you thinking this will be short-term while we kind of know we're in a place where we need to fix roads and we didn't get the tax to help us fix the roads? Is it short-term, or are you thinking long-term, like from here for as long as you can foresee this 17.5 would be sufficient?
Until I'm scared again. But basically long-term, because we were able to do, you remember, we were able to do a lot of roads this year with this. 360,000 is really gonna, I mean, in addition to the amount that I'm gonna be kind of recommending be set aside, I was talking with the mayor about this over the weekend. I see some potential with some of the things we'd be recommending in here for over 5,300,000 going to roads and curbs this year. With this kind of, and still being conservative in what we're doing here.
Nope, sorry, Mr. Burke.
Thank you. Before I was involved in local governance, I know went down to Jeff City, and we tried to ask the legislature to give school districts this kind of leeway, because, you know, in times where they needed one more teacher but they couldn't afford it, you could pull 3% out of a budget and still easily cover their needs. And a lot of districts were hedging their bets at like 30% and bragging at how they did less with more, or did more with less, but that equated to less salaries and teachers leaving every year. So I think it's a good way to get a little more usable funds for the people.
So you happen to mention the public safety sales tax. That shouldn't even enter into this particular conversation, should it? Because that is dedicated toward public safety. I mean, I don't want the public to get the indication that the 2.5% that you're lowering from 20 to 17.5 could be utilized in another category, because that's not the case at all. The public safety sales tax is the public safety sales tax.
That's correct, sir. It would be a 17.5% set aside. The public safety sales tax is still an operating fund, and so we would still have a restricted revenue balance in there. It would just be 17.5%.
But no,
instead of the 20.
and that's the only effect on that particular tax. So that allows the police department to include that in potential equipment or whatever for the 8
Exactly.
officers and their
Exactly. Those 8 officers are still gonna have one-time expenses.
correct.
And so that available fund balance that would be left with the 17.5% we would still be dedicating to those 8 officers, equipping them. We still have vehicle needs that are one-time needs, things like that.
Right.
If those officers, if that particular program, we wanted to dedicate a larger piece of equipment to something that just those officers were doing sometime in the future, it would be only in that fund for that same group. Remains completely
Yeah,
independent.
I just wanted to reassure the community that's exactly what those funds are being paid for, is public safety, because I know technology is changing in the law enforcement world on a regular basis. I just got notified by Motorola, they have their own camera now mounting system that is actually a radio. It's a 2-way radio. And so absent what they're carrying on their belt by way of walkie-talkie, it turns the camera into a 2-way communications device as well, along with the video. So it is, it's constantly evolving, and I'm thinking that for the purposes of the rest of the department, many of the things that we can do with these 8 officers is to, potentially test some of that new technology from time to time and ensure that we're staying up with the needs of the community as well.
Exactly, sir.
All right, just want to make sure.
But again, we also want to be safe with that
Yes,
and keep that 17.5 restricted fund balance even in that operating fund, just like the rest of the
no,
operating
absolutely.
funds.
You don't know what kind of emergencies,
Exactly.
especially in that category. Tom?
Yeah, I agree with the mayor, because when we pushed that tax, it was all about 100% guarantee for a PD, and that's why people came out and wanted that. I wouldn't, like I say, get any idea they start saying, well, there's a government starting to take away the money from our PD that we put it. I wouldn't want that idea to get out there to the public. You know how they think, so I think the mayor has a great idea. Make sure we protect that.
But I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think anything we can do to improve our infrastructure and to accelerate its maintenance and repair, and for the folks here in our community is good. Everybody else feel the same way? Okay.
Put a lot of time and work into it.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Concludes this item.
Oh, okay. Also, I had an opportunity to visit with Miss Harmer, and she reminded me that I'm slow to report out my appointments. This one is for, these are for the Arts Commission, and want to make sure that these get assigned. She's working very hard. As you know, they've got a lot of things going on this summer, a lot of things planned for the future. The two are reappointments. One is a new appointment. Mr. Hightower will be replacing Cole Young on the boards and commissions. So Mr. Young had to resign from the Arts Commission. So those will be those are her recommendations, which I vetted as well, and we'll be proposing those to the council for approval at the next meeting. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I had mentioned to a couple of the council members as we were in the room that over the sign issue, the social media has kind of blown up, and is a bit of disinformation that's going on out there. And I felt it tantamount, given that the comments that I was seeing and the folks rising up to include those within the council, that I needed to make a statement for the record here, because I think it's really important that it not be trivialized what staff has done to bring to us. Over the past 3 years, we have talked about the sign code and ensuring that we meet state statute and the newer court decisions that have been made, in particular to being very careful about the types of signs that are restricted, that we make it more content-based. It eliminates content-based and including political signs, and it aligns with state law and First Amendment protections to just to compare what we have in place and what will be proposed to the council and to the public at the next meeting. I came up with like 5 talking points on sign code revisions. And really what staff is doing is really at the insistence of this body to ensure that sign codes do fall in line. And really it's about clarity, it's about fairness, and legal compliance. The proposed updates remove content-based terms like political signs to align with Missouri law and constitutional protections. Another thing that it's doing is we're treating all temporary signage equally, whether it's a campaign sign, a garage sale, a community event. Rules will apply consistently based on time, place, and manner, not message. And the city's right-of-way and public property will remain protected. Signs will still be prohibited on city property without permission. That policy is not changing, it's only clarified. We've listened to concerns about visual clutter. This update will help limit excessive signage in shared entryways and ensure signs don't overwhelm public spaces. It's not about restricting speech, never has been. It's about ensuring order. Our goal is to protect free expression and maintain an attractive, navigable city for everyone. I didn't read you my entire document that I'd put together on that, because I do have a statement about social media and the disinformation that it causes and can impact on governance, good governance, which unfortunately has been growing over the past couple of years. But I do feel like the clarity that I hope I've provided on what the staff is recommending to us and what we're trying to do with the sign code diminishes some of these outright lies and pieces of information that we're restricting people's freedom of speech. It's not the case at all. We are actually ensuring that we maintain that freedom of speech. Is it going to create problems for us? Potentially. I mean, my next door neighbor could say Chris Turnbow sucks and have a sign in their yard. As long as it doesn't sit there in the right of way, they're good with that, you know? So, I mean, it is, I just think people have kind of overreacted to this when we've been talking about it for 3 years, bringing it into code compliance. And if there's anything I've missed, Mr. Zur, with regard to that, or I'm speaking out wrongly, I hope you'll correct me.
Sure will. And if I need to at the actual time of presentation, I'll do that as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. And that's all I have on that. I thought I'd bring it up as a conversation. I mean, we can talk about it more. We've talked about it in work sessions before. If you want to talk about it now, we can talk about it again. Staff is here. Mr. Zur, who helped write it, is here. If anybody has questions about that, we'd be happy to talk about it here. Otherwise, it'll show up on the next agenda. Anybody? Okay. All right, well, that's all I had under other. We do have reason to go into executive session, so I will ask for that motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Abdelgawad.
I move that we enter into executive session to discuss real estate matters.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. Motion been made and seconded to go into executive session to discuss real estate matters. Could I have the roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes.